service like, oh, shake everybody, tell them good night. I'm like, nigga, I don't know who got the shrine. I ain't shaking nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
How do you guys start off the podcast? Do you say 3, 2, 1, or do you say action, or you just start? No, this is a serious question.
oh, you thought just out here and then they do the whole director's cut. Now we just pretty much go into the. Hey, welcome back to the Parrot Side podcast. With myself, Skills. We got man like bro.
Yes, the Parrot Side boys, baby.
But this guy is this entire life. Come on.
Hey yo, everyone follow Skills on TikTok at Brilliant Gazelle.
Yo, going up.
That's a very interesting name.
Nah, you ain't cutting that shit out, bro. The nigga, you know, whenever it's someone else, the nigga will leave it. Nah, you have to leave this one too, but you have to take your own smoke.
Alright, we've got a special guest in the building.
Hey, we got Falajimi. You know, if you go to Spectre's house.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, he's gassing himself. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, before we get into our agenda,
Okay,
I know what the fuck it is, but all three of us in primary school, grade 1 house school. If you know, then you know. Shout out to Parrot Side. Still, what was you doing back then? We was hanging out. We here to hang out. Come hang with us. Bet. All right. Agenda number 1. Let's get to the main P of the day.
The Coco.
Living in Naij versus outside Naij. So obviously, you know, all of us here, we've been back and forth and shit. You know what I'm saying? All of us are still, well, moderately patriotic, you know. Sometimes we be good, sometimes we be shit. But, you know, shout out Nigeria. We're still repping. But we've been on both sides. So let's talk about, you know, living in Naij versus outside Naij. I guess the differences. And I guess which one ultimately will be better, which one ultimately would you like to return to, and I guess have a family and blah, blah, blah. So, Falajimi, start us off. What are you saying? What do you think?
Guy, is immigration listening to this podcast?
Nah, I doubt it.
What if you guys blow tomorrow? Instead of you to pray for yourself so that you go. Anyway, Sha. Yeah, I think ideally, Nigeria is kind of hard, especially right now. As much as we would like to say, yeah, man, let me come back, let me excel this one, that one. It's like that Japan movement has something going on.
A lot of people have been like, I've been seeing it on Twitter, I mean, every other day. It's like, yo.
Yeah,
you can't blame them now.
No, of course not. Of course not.
See, let me tell you something basic. I feel like we can relate to this. Last time I came back was 2015. Back in the day, secondary school days, boys would just go to silver bed. Maybe you pay, if you go there on a special day, you pay $7.50. They give you popcorn and drink. Maybe on their normal days, $1.5. Guess how much it is to watch film in silver bed today?
How much?
It's like 3K, 3.5, something like that, maybe.
That's kind of cheap. I saw 4,000 and I saw 5,500
to watch a movie.
Yeah.
To watch film.
Yeah, I haven't gone in a while, so I didn't even know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mostly all those blockbuster movies.
That's what the economy is doing, bro. Exercise book.
Wow.
Exercise book. 60 pages. How much was it back then? Maybe last 59. Unless if I'm not thinking well. That stuff is like 400 naira right now.
Exercise, I mean, like which book? Like the primary, like Ugo type, like them books.
No.
Just like
exercise.
Standard one, yeah.
Oh no, that's
the one that you write inside.
Got you.
You write inside book.
Yeah.
Guy, that stuff is like 400 naira these days, though.
Wait, so your thing is about the economy? Is that what it is?
That's the factor that's guiding why people won't want to. Why I would prefer to jackpot and why anybody would prefer to just, you know, try and see what's popping in the other side of the world. Be a world explorer, bro.
Before I counter that point, come on, what you say?
Okay.
I mean, I was gonna say like I was just gonna add some other shit to what he said because I remember even like Chicken Capital here, the shawarma was like I think it was like 1.6 in 2020, like let's say 2021 it was like 1.6, bro. It is 3.6 now, so that's like 2K difference in the space of a year and a half. Right? So yeah, it's 3.6. Remember, you were talking about that Chicken Republic burger meal now. How much was that before?
Big
and now
meal.
it's
like
2K
now
it's 3.2. Yeah, now it's 3.2 or something. Like, bro, and the problem is, all the prices are going up, but the salaries aren't going up. The salaries are
Yeah,
still the
man.
same.
It's like people
But
that
then
were
even when
earning 10K are still earning 10K.
yeah, yeah, that's still any 10K. And even when the economy fixes up, it's not like the prices are going to come down. The prices are still going to stay up. So that's the fucking
Yeah.
problem with this country. Like, everything is so bloody expensive, man. So that economy, even school fees now, if you're earning in naira, exchange rates as of last week was 796
That's what dollars.
dollar.
Nah,
Yeah,
that's
Hell,
is that dollars? Are you
Jacob.
serious?
yeah, it does. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
796.
Like black market vibes.
Black market.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
But
like,
yeah,
so you can imagine what that's like for someone
That's mad.
earning salary in naira to try and take his child abroad. So, and all these Nigerian schools are shit. ASU is still on strike. So niggas that have been in school have been waiting like 4 or 5 months just to get back to uni. Like, that shit makes no sense.
actually, did you
Um,
see? Oh, sorry. Did you see news today that a
Mm.
court ordered ASU to go back to teaching?
Yeah.
Nigerian
well,
school.
how can you force them to do that? How can you enforce that?
They're on strike.
Like,
It's
you
like,
can
yeah,
order,
stop.
yeah, like that shit don't work that way, bro. Like,
Khalil,
so that
no,
niggas.
stop.
But I feel like that's a very Nigerian thing, though, because you know the way everything is just gra in this place. Like,
Mm.
yeah, man, I must force you go to secondary school. They are beating you like you're a dog when your father is paying school fees. You go outside, people are doing you anyhow. The same, I think, it's the same spirit that's making the court to say, Asu, whether or not we are treating you well, you must go back to school because by force, otherwise you will lie down in my corner.
Like
Something like that. You know, skills. You went to Abyssinia. I don't know if you guys did shit like that in your school. You know, you guys.
No,
It's
well,
not
nobody was
impossible.
lying down in any corner, okay?
Nobody like
Wow,
that.
must have been
Bro,
nice.
like this guy had no bullying in your school, like at all.
In my school, oh no, wait, nah, not in the way like they bullied in your own school. Like I wasn't washing my senior's clothes, you know what I'm saying? So,
Wow,
no.
must have been nice.
We thank God. We thank
How's your
God.
mental health these days?
Very, you
Good.
know what? It varies, but it's
It
fine.
varies. Any trauma from secondary school?
Thankfully,
You
no.
guys, nothing, man.
Wow. You know what? Let's clap for you, man. You have tried. Your parents tried. Whoever made that decision for your life. Woo.
The skills. What you get to say
Yeah, I
I
wanted
go
to
into
counter
details
his
about it?
point because so if we talk about the economy, right? I mean, I guess in Naij, I mean, I don't really know, but like, okay, so if prices are increasing, what you're saying is the salaries are not increasing at all.
No.
Mhm. No,
Oh,
no.
okay. I mean, like, see, man. I mean, I get it. Okay, my own thing with Naij, living in Naij outside Naij is this. My own main P is the whole basic infrastructure. Because in Naij, it doesn't matter how rich you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything happens, the ambulance still not get to you on time. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing.
Mhm.
Whereas in the
Yeah.
US or in the UK or in the West, it's like, yeah, like, I mean, you could be moderately broke. I mean, you could be living, hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck, but yeah, you still have the basic infrastructure. You have electricity,
Yeah.
you have access to health services and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So
Isn't
that's
that shit
one
mad
thing.
expensive though? It's mad
That
expensive.
US healthcare.
US healthcare is ridiculous. Yeah, it's
That,
ridiculous.
that
But
US
like,
healthcare. Don't call ambulance, call an Uber, man.
yeah, no, the ambulance, like, they airlifted one of my guys one time when we were playing football. Like the guy broke his leg and everything. Guy,
Yeah. How much did
just
that
that
cost him?
ride in the helicopter, I think was like 45K, at least. I was like,
Dollars.
rough. Yeah,
They brought an
45,000
45K.
dollars.
aeroplane. What do you expect?
45K.
Yeah, no lie, at least
Bro, how
45K.
did he
That
pay for
makes
that?
sense.
He had insurance.
How much
Luckily.
did even
Oh,
after
more.
insurance? I feel like it was still like 5K.
Luckily for him, he had like some kind of scholarship deal with the insurance, like basically they covered everything. But I mean, okay, here's the thing, because I mean, in most Western countries, it's not in nice. Like if you don't have the money, they won't treat you like they'll let you die, which is wild, by the way. But like in the West, it's like, I
Yeah,
know
it's not
we'll
even
save,
true.
we're gonna save your life, but you're gonna owe us
Yeah,
still.
that's facts.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
Wait, is
But
it
what if you
true? Is
don't
it
have
actually true?
insurance?
Yeah, that's true. No,
or like in
That's
Nice.
They'll
how
let
they
you
do
die.
it.
Yeah,
More
No,
that
in
they
Nice,
let you
they
die,
let
but
you die.
like they won't admit you.
yeah, they won't.
Guy,
It's like, well, if you're not paying, yeah.
medical is a business. Medical
Isn't that how
is
it
a
is? I'll be
business.
mistaken. That's how it is now. In
That's how
Nigeria.
it is.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Maybe if you find
Somebody,
a Maybe you find a doctor that's a pastor, it might help you, but yeah, you just die. You just leave it alone. Bro.
Man,
Yeah, even the
pastors
pastors
nowadays.
one. Yeah,
I was good. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I was good
Nigeria,
to say,
everybody's struggling.
yeah. Like, bro, I wanted to say, man, anyone wants to get offended, so I was like, you know what,
Niggas
let me
pay,
chill on
fam.
this one. Chill on this one. Yeah, night life is not so much of a struggle, man. Like for the most part, I think if you're, what I would say is if you're rich in Naij, I think it's a better life than if
Oh
you're
yeah.
Well, it's
rich,
still
rich in
not
a.
great though. Like you still gonna die in traffic.
No. It's
Nah.
that, bro. Like, what if you're rich in Naij? You do nothing, bro. Like, you have a driver, you have a cook, you have maids, you have
No, I get it.
everything.
So no, but it's convenience. But I'm saying it's the small things. Okay, so you have a driver, you have whatever.
yeah.
You're stuck in traffic on Terminal Bridge. You're robbing everybody. Where
There's
you gonna
fucking
go?
traffic everywhere. No, but like that's
Yeah,
Yeah,
you,
that's
you
true.
just swim, man, like the
traffic
guys.
everywhere, bro. Like, what do you mean? There's traffic in New
But
York.
what
There's
skills
traffic
is
in
trying to
LA.
say that like
No.
even certain things that like what you would call the middle class or the lower class suffer
Yeah.
to being in
Mhm.
Nige, even as the higher class, you still get to
Mhm.
experience
Yeah, you're
those
not
things.
protected
now.
So your money
from
does not
certain things.
necessarily
You still
Exactly.
relate
suffer.
to
Exactly.
We're talking about like
You
being
know.
robbed, and I
Yeah.
feel like that applies regardless of where you are, though.
Oh
Like
yeah,
traffic
yeah,
and being
applies.
like that's everywhere. Yeah.
I feel like
Like
with Nigeria's traffic,
I guess.
with Nigeria's traffic
like
problems, is because people are not. It's bad planning. Like sure, in places abroad, there's places that have bad planning, and traffic. Whoever solves traffic will be a millionaire till the end of time. But
mm,
I feel like in more abroad country, no places where they try to structure things well, the the traffic is because this is the best we can do right now, or we
I mean,
have
there's still
tried.
yeah. I mean,
Even
there'll
if
still
there's
be traffic.
corruption,
Yeah, facts,
yes.
facts.
In Nigeria, it's because somebody did not plan well. This can be solved.
yeah,
The
true.
technology and the methodology exists.
I think it also depends on where you are. Like skills and roles are Lagos boys, so they're used to traffic. Abuja is
Yeah.
not. It's not traffic. Like
Yeah.
like I
I'm also
barely
an
get into
Abuja
So,
traffic.
boy, come
Like
on.
honestly, like
so
almost. Huh?
if you
See, I'm
say
also
Bro,
an
what,
Abuja,
Abuja boy, so I can relate.
you're not. Well,
why are
you
you
live
I've been
living in
on
in.
both
Abuja?
sides
You
of the
did
coin.
service
It's
there,
been
but
both, fam.
yes, but so you know, so
Guy, I
those you know,
schooled there
like
for
traffic.
6 years.
Oh yeah, true. He did actually. Yes, traffic is not an issue here. Like you
Yeah.
honestly
Traffic
barely get into traffic
I
here.
mean, it's gotten
guy.
worse than before.
Yeah,
Let's be
definitely.
honest.
Yeah, but it's still
Like,
not a. Unless
yeah,
you're
it's not
coming
as bad as
from
Lagos.
like outside of
Okay,
town into town, like early in the morning, that's
okay.
when traffic is an
Yeah,
issue.
yeah,
But
yeah. From that Guarimpa
if you live
side.
in town, yeah, if you live in town, yeah, Guarimpa is packed. Guarimpa is packed, and then all that Maraba side, that part is packed because a lot of people there. But if you're living in town, honestly, traffic is not a problem over
Yeah,
here.
that's
So
fast.
So,
if
so,
you're rich, trust me, you're living in town.
so let me tell you what. Do you know you live in Abuja? Do you know like that area with the estates like Sun City
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
yeah? So I live around there. And you're
yeah.
right. Most times there isn't traffic, but let's say like 5 p.m.
Yeah, after
to
work.
7 p.m. Let's just say Uber drivers don't want to carry you because because nobody wants to enter the traffic and traffic is bad. I mean, it's not
but
Lagos bad, but it's still bad.
when you were in New York, was it different?
So I entered train when I was in New York. So
Oh
New
yeah,
York is
that's
pretty
the
definitely.
packed,
driver's
though, to be
business.
fair.
Yeah, I was
That
gonna, yeah,
place
because I
is
know New
mad.
York is pretty shit too. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying,
Like
like
why?
traffic is lies everywhere.
Yeah, it's a life problem. Whoever solves it is going to be rich forever, unless if they maga
So
him. But it's going to be rich forever.
so skills, would you rather
Uh,
be rich, like really rich in America than in or UK than in
yeah, see,
Nigeria?
that's the next thing I was going to say. Like, don't get me wrong, if you have money in night, like enjoyment there, you know what I'm saying? But like you're still because like from what you were just saying now, okay, say like robbery, for example. Yeah, I mean you can get robbed anywhere. I mean, I ask facts. Generally,
Uh-huh.
though, generally, Naij is not that safe on average. Doesn't matter necessarily where you are. So in the case of now, even outside of robbery,
I think it does though.
I mean, like, see, okay, outside of robbery, for example, say for example, you're rich, right? Okay, you have a mansion, wherever
Uh-huh.
you live on the island, wherever, cool. If God forbid now fire enters the house, nigga, the fire services ain't showing up. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But like in Western
That
countries,
depends. That solely depends on where you station.
I guess, yeah, good point. But like that, what I'm just trying to say is those basic infrastructure, like niggas ain't running gen out here. You know what I'm saying? Like those basic infrastructures, like, yo, that's for me is important. So at some point, it doesn't matter how rich you are, like you still can't escape that Naij-ness,
Oh
fam.
yeah.
Like, you have all this money, but
But
you're
how, but
spending
how
on
much?
diesel. Like, nah.
But how much do you feel it though? Is what I'm saying. Because like niggas are rich. Like I don't think they care
I feel
about
that's this. So I feel like
Yeah.
you
cost
have to
of
be
diesel and that.
rich to be able to be like, okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's what Kamal is describing now.
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
I'm
then I
saying.
feel you. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, then I feel you. Yeah, no, then facts. But like
yeah. But
the
obviously,
money
if you're
has to
middle
be
class
long though,
or anything
like
like that,
long.
yeah, yeah. But if you're middle
Okay.
class, you're definitely like even when I was coming back, the biggest issue is always like you said, the basic stuff, Wi-Fi. Like really things are just
Wi-Fi.
yeah, things are just so simple. Like in other places, like even going to the bank, like going to the bank here is so fucking stressful.
Wi-Fi.
Mm.
Can I
This
tell
nigga's still
my
stuck in the
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi.
story?
Tell your
Oh
Wi-Fi story.
no. So so we have Wi-Fi at home, yeah. And most times it's good. IPNX. They claim to be like the best Wi-Fi people in Nigeria. I know what they are one of the
I,
best.
I looked into them before. Yeah.
They are up there. They are working. Fiber optic. When I'm on
Mm.
video calls, it's not like it's buffering or any of that stuff. I'm not giving anybody excuse to say, are you calling from Africa? We can see that your video is blurry. No, it's good. But guess what? Now in my house, we have inverter, we have generators, so we kind of have light somewhat constantly.
Uh-huh.
But can you believe the Wi-Fi goes? Like they just take it sometimes.
What do you mean? Like really take
Oh,
Yeah,
lights to take
so they
Wi-Fi?
do the way they take light, they take light.
yeah.
What?
Nigga, those are
Yeah,
like
yeah,
season Wi-Fi.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What?
It shocked me. It shocked me. Like my fourth week being back. I just woke up on Monday. I just saw Wi-Fi is not working. What's this? Guys, this is America. You call Wi-Fi company, you call their fathers, you disturb them, they'll fix
Wicked.
your Wi-Fi
Mm-hmm.
that day.
Facts.
I told my popsy, guy, Wi-Fi is not working. I beg, can you call the company or something? You just say, oh yes, that happens. I was like, what? Yeah, say yeah. It happens sometimes. Sometimes they have outages. They take it for a few hours to a few days. What?
To a few days.
Yeah. The Wi-Fi
Yeah.
was gone for like 3 days,
Oh.
and
Three
that's
days. That's
happened
even
like.
calm, so this can be worse. Trust
Oh,
me.
my guy said that. Can you see? And that's happened
Yeah.
like three or four times. Hopefully, thank God they're not taking it in like 2 weeks. So you know what? Let me not jinx it. Before I wake up tomorrow and there's no Wi-Fi.
Let
And
me
yeah,
say
man.
again, even for me over here, like I use a different provider, but I'm not even going to give them their names because they're so fucking terrible. But like in general, when the Wi-Fi is working, it's fine. Like you don't really have much issues.
It's
But
good
bro,
internet.
once you have a problem, like that customer service is so bad. One time they tried to install Wi-Fi for like one of our neighbors, and then they cut one of our cables. So we couldn't have internet. Bro, it took these guys 2.5 months to fix it. So for 2.5 months, I had no Wi-Fi, and I'm just like you
Oh,
said in UK, or if that happened to me in the UK, there's no way it doesn't take
guy,
up to like in a week. I'm pretty sure, regardless what the issue is, they're gonna fix it. Like just to come
yeah.
and cut fix the cable that these niggas cut, it took them 2.5 months. So, guy, Naij man, Naij is not for the week. I won't even lie to you, bro. If I had a
Child,
chance, I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't be here right now.
Before I want to say
Yeah.
some things, I mean, because there are still disadvantages of like living in like Western societies. But
Oh
before
yeah,
that
man.
though, Rose, what are you saying? Rose, what are you saying so far?
Yeah. So, like, in terms of, like I said, it depends on perspective. Like, I mean, in terms of things like your friends, I mean, majority of your friends are probably in like Naij.
Facts.
So when you leave, you might, so there are some of them that you might never see again, and even
Yeah.
family as well. Like that's one thing like about when you leave the country, and then even depending on where you are going to, like you might not really see as many people
Mm-hmm.
who are like you, who are also from like Nigeria or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's also one thing, because one thing that people always complain about whenever like they jammed and everything is that loneliness and all, as against to like when you're in Naij, at least you have friends, like you can go chill with your friends, your guys, and everything. But because like you don't have so many other guys like that, like you did in Naij, that you could relate to on a certain level, like the jokes you tell, the way you speak, so all of those things, like they play a part. But then on the other hand, like certain things, I mean, like just like you guys have said, in terms of like infrastructure services, like those things are readily available here. So most people would want that. I mean, everybody wants to see a system that actually works, to see a system where these things make sense and you're comfortable and all. But like in fact, in terms of like that riches stuff, I mean, is a country like Niger, man, if you are rich, aside from the little,
Bro,
the
you're
little
balling, bro.
fox.
You're
Yeah,
balling.
exactly. You're balling. You're balling
You're balling.
steady. I mean, guy, you go to some people's houses in Niger, like you see the sizes of these things. I'm like, man, people are rich. But like when you come to a country like here in UK, first of all, guy, one thing I realized is, guy, these people don't have money like that.
Guy, 45%
Like,
tax will do that
No,
to
it's
you.
facts.
That
Those
is
facts.
cheap,
Yeah,
some of them don't have
45%
money like
tax.
that, and the taxes are buff off, man.
and
Maybe
the
like
royal family
five,
has how
six,
much money?
yeah,
Your family has
guys.
500 billion, man. One person, Prince Charles
And
alone.
Why haven't
500
they done
Or is
what
the
the
king
French
now?
did to them?
most of the nationals, they are probably blinded by loyalty now. So
Ah,
Yeah, the monarchy
majority
is
of them,
traditional. Don't worry. Like, see, tradition is just hard to get past in general, man.
yeah,
okay.
that's facts.
Yeah. You need to
So
show
at
people.
the end of the day, like when you compare, like if you are rich like this, I mean, in Niger, you probably have a better chance of like enjoying your money to the fullest
True.
compared to like if you are here in like the UK. Because bro, those taxes,
But I think
they're
what
bugging.
the UK has is so in Niger you have an upper class, you have a lower class, and then the middle you have a middle class, but the middle class is still relatively speaking, if you compare it to
Yeah,
other
it's
countries, it's
gradually
still kind of
getting
poor.
Is
wiped
there a
away.
middle class in
Yeah.
Nigeria?
Yeah, there has to be a middle class, obviously, because every like middle class is just the average, isn't it? Like if you're
So you're
taking,
struggling, eh?
yeah, but I'm saying the okay here is the middle class, kind of.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying, relatively speaking, you're still poor if you want to compare to US or UK or anything like that, even though you're middle class. Like I was, yeah, I mean, facts are facts. Like it just is what it is. What the UK has is the UK doesn't have an upper class the way Nigeria has an upper class, and it doesn't have
Yeah.
a lower class the way Nigeria has a lower class. So their middle class is quite big, and then obviously you have the homeless people, but the homeless people are kind of like an exception. Plus, there's a welfare system, so even the really unemployed people and that they have access to funds and basic or decent living. So
Yeah.
they do a better job of balancing wealth between the top and the bottom. Whereas, yeah, bro, rich guys don't even pay taxes here, man. Like, like
Yeah,
they
that's
just
facts.
pay tax. So, well, we do a lot of philanthropical shit, but like at the end of the day, most of the wealth doesn't go anywhere. It just stays at the top. So people below them just don't get shit. And that's the issue we've had for a long time. And all these niggas running for president, I don't know which one of them is going to come and address that shit. But like until that changes, this country, man, we just no, probably not, because nobody's gonna allow them to. But for me, that's one of the biggest problems Nigeria has. Like that wealth gap is way too much, man.
That's facts. That's the, and I
Yeah, that's
guess
facts.
at the end of the day, it's just a matter of like pick your poison. Because like Rose said, which is actually facts. Like, because a lot of Nigerians, like when they do the whole Japa movement, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like nah, I'm going to be earning in dollars, I'm going to be earning in pounds. I'm like, yeah, that's true, but you're also going to be living in that same currency. Like, nigga, rent ain't
Yeah,
cheap, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
Because I go to
facts.
the barber shop, I pay what $50 for a haircut. That's like
50.
30,000 naira.
Wait,
Yeah,
how much?
$50.
yeah, that's facts.
No, you're
$50 for a
joking,
haircut.
bro.
Yeah.
You're
Guy, where do
No,
you live?
guy,
Guy, where
haircuts,
do you
man.
live? I'm very curious now.
I get my haircut in Phoenix. That's
You
like even
feel
cheap. That's like on the cheaper side.
guy,
Well. To be fair, my barber is like one of the like he cuts like NFL players and shit. So like he's on his
oh,
shit.
so you are going to celebrity.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's even cheap though. I know niggas
Like
in
I went to a
Vegas they pay like
celebrity barber
120.
Okay.
for a haircut.
Yeah,
Now, okay,
dead
so
ass.
let
Yeah.
me just say full disclosure. I've not paid more than $25 for a haircut of my years of living in the US.
Let's even okay, but you know what? Even though that's wild, but let's even call it $25. Nigga, you're still paying like 15 grand. That's still 15,000.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
that's facts.
oh yes.
Yeah,
Guy,
And in
exactly.
Naij, bro, you can find places where you can still get haircuts for like 5 each.
For 5 each a hair. You know
Oh
what I'm
wait,
saying?
you
So
can't?
Yeah, you
I
can.
cut my hair. I cut my
I mean
hair
the
for
area might
2,000
be rough around the
the other
edges,
day.
but it depends.
Oh,
Yeah, facts.
2,000.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yours
yeah.
is even more. I cut my hair for 1.5, and that's in Asokoro.
1.5,
So
Yeah.
if you go
Wow.
to other places, it's a lot cheaper, man.
Maybe
A lot
they
cheaper.
Madam, and I got my hair dyed too.
Oh,
Kai,
that's where the extra cost
no,
came
I
from.
paid them 4,000 for the dyeing and the
Oh,
washing.
okay, never mind then. Yeah,
You-
never mind.
like
Okay,
2,000 for
dying.
Too
cut,
expensive.
2,000 for
Yeah, I'm not
cut,
paying 4K for a
2,000
haircut.
for
Man.
dye and wash. So yeah, bro.
You see, that's what I'm
What?
saying. So at the end of the day, all these living expenses, sometimes because as Nigerian, I'll be like, okay, let me do the conversion. But nah, that's just going to be the person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's what it is. Like Rose said, we're just out here. A lot of guys are living, couple paychecks to paycheck. So you miss 2-3 paychecks, homeless. And that's just life. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
And I guess when that homeless thing happens, that's another thing. You see the difference between Nigeria and abroad. Because let's say you're in somewhere like New York and you don't have rent and you're going to be homeless. Guy, if care is not taking, you're sleeping on the streets. But in Nigeria, like I don't know, we're a collective culture, we're a community culture. So like you can find your ways. You can find your ways, go and talk to this person, go and do this one, go to a random
Yeah,
church.
clash with your guys.
You'll
Yeah.
find someone for sure. You'll find
Yes.
someone. You'll find someone.
You find a way, and although they might vex, you might be able to sleep there for like 2 months and they'll be giving you food.
Yeah, I'm basically stealing a living, man.
So that's one of those
Nice.
things that Nigeria has going on for it. The fact that we're more community oriented. But the downside is that everybody is inside everybody's business. So next thing you know,
Yeah.
they're judging you. I have twists, and I can tell you the amount of times I've been walking down the road and I just see somebody giving me bad eye. I'm like,
Ah,
"Hey, man,
oh,
that
so yeah,
person's
because of
giving
your
me
hair.
bad
Yeah,
eye
yeah,
because
yeah,
I have
yeah.
twists."
God, I don't know why people care so much about those things, man. Like, at the end of the day, my life and how I want to live it has nothing to do with you. Like, if I have twists or if I have dreads or whatever else I have, how does that affect you? Like, why is that such a
Come on,
big deal?
like you said, it all boils down to the whole culture thing. When you're engrossed in a particular culture for so long, like certain things that are outside of the norm, people frown against it. So
Mhm.
it's not a surprise when you see people looking down on you or looking differently at you when you have like different hairstyles and all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true, true.
that's all good. Because Kamal, because I feel like we've been on both sides, right? I think we can agree that there's a lack of progressiveness in Naij. They're not very exactly. So I feel like your
Yeah.
perspective is like that. Do you feel like you only think like that because okay, you've been in Western societies where it's like okay, do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like basically, it's modernized and there's so much progressiveness and like oh, do that. If you've lived in Nigeria your whole life, I feel like you might look at somebody that had twists. I'm like, damn, like this nigga is like an area boy or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Although one thing I'll give Nige is that these days more people than I don't know 5 years ago have alternative hairstyles. Like you're more
Yeah,
likely to see a
yeah.
guy walking down the road in dreads in Nigeria in 2022 than in
No, 5 years ago. Yeah.
2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
we'll give
mean,
them that one.
no, I was gonna say like I think like even if I feel like a lot of it depends on your level of like exposure to things because a lot of
yeah,
people in Nine
exactly.
are kind of restricted in that sense. They don't really get to see what other cultures do and what other people do. So what they're told by, let's say, in their church or mosque or in their local community is kind of what shapes the whole worldview, and they never like go beyond that. So if you see someone with dreads or tattoos or whatever, your initial reaction is, "Oh, this guy is a gangster, or is like you said, area boy, whatever term you want to call them. You shall place whatever
Yahoo Yahoo.
stereotype you know. Yeah, Yahoo Yahoo boy. That all those stereotypes, you just place it on them immediately because you don't know any better. Whereas I think if you've been abroad you see it so often that you're just like, okay, it's just a hairstyle. But then again, man, if you see a skinhead walking in the middle of the night, bro,
Hey,
I feel like you're kind of kind
see,
of moving in the other direction.
see,
Because let's be real, those stereotypes, as much as we
stereotypes
want to
exist for
say,
a reason.
yeah, you want to, yeah, there's
Yeah.
still stereotypes. So people like us that come from Naij and we don't know any better, we'll go there and we know all the skinheads stereotypes, so we immediately try and go the other direction, even though in reality it's just a normal guy with a bald cut. Because if in Nigeria you saw a guy with a baldy, you're not really thinking anything of it. But because you see a guy with a baldy and was white, so maybe he has some tattoos, you think he's gonna kill you. Like shit doesn't work like that.
Mm. Do you feel like because we've been exposed to both sides, we're kind of, I guess, like we're losing some of our culture in favor of the West? Are we westernizing ourselves excessively? Ola Jimmy, what do you think?
No, okay. Ah, mm. My
What's going on here?
instinctive answer is no.
Okay.
But then again, here's my like in terms of learning abroad. I I went to Howard University. It's an all black
Mhm.
school. Lived in
Oh,
Washington D.C.
HBCU?
for
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I lived
actually
in
Oh
Washington
yeah.
D.C. for
shit!
most of that time. So
HU.
you know, why'd you make me
Hey,
say
yeah.
that here?
I'm
But
sorry.
you know what? No, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Woo. But I'm actually wearing a Howard alumni shirt right now. But in terms of so, with that being said, I still had plenty of opportunity to be around black people in general and also be
Mhm.
around Nigerians. I'm living in DC. If you have been to DC, you know that DC has a lot of African people, like
Mhm.
is in there. So I'm going to say, in terms of my exposure, I don't feel like I had to give up my culture a lot.
So are we losing our culture in favor of the West? Yes, I definitely think so. But I also think it depends on which demographic you're talking about. So if you're gonna consider people like us that have been abroad and then come back, um, there's this tendency to compare everything in Niger to everything abroad. And obviously, this is a third world country, a developing country versus a first world country in UK or US. So a lot of things that we have or they have, we don't have over here. And then a lot of the attitudes and behaviors we also kind of take. So if and Niger, you know how conservative Niger is now versus how liberal US or UK is. So if you're used to that freedom of wearing whatever you want, going out, whatever whenever you want, you go clubbing, you go drinking, you come back at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., all those things, and you don't really think twice about it. So then you come back tonight and someone says, "Nah, you can't go out past 8 p.m." Or as a girl, you can't go out past 7 p.m. or whatever. Like you start thinking why. Or then they say you can't
Exactly.
wear
Yeah.
a crop top, because in UK, US, you wear a crop top, no one gives a shit. But like you walk around in Abuja with a crop top, people are gonna look at you funny, like they just start. Um, but at the end of the day, because we've been there for so long, that culture is ingrained in us. We kind of take it up on our heads, and then also because we go when we're kind of young, so you can still be influenced at that age. But the flip side to it is people who've been here their whole lives, and I can speak from the Hausa perspective since I live in Abuja. Most people here are Hausa. The Hausa people live in Abuja their whole lives, and most of them honestly do not give two shits about Western culture. They don't care about LGBT rights. They don't care about trans rights. They don't care about feminism. Like they don't care about any of those things. Like as far as they're concerned, that's why people stuff, and it doesn't really affect them. But then there's also like again people our age who maybe watch more like Western shows, like TV
Yeah, so
shows
they'll
and
be
movies, and
influenced by like media.
yeah,
Yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
yeah those ones are influenced by the media, and that's why like during SARS and stuff, you were seeing a lot of gay rights movements and stuff like, and then you had the flip. That's even a perfect example of the
I'm back
divide we
again,
have right
boys.
now.
Uh-huh.
Like so, like during SARS, there were the people who were gay but also marching like against SARS, and then there were the people that were angry that there were gay people marching against SARS because like, yo, we don't recognize gay rights over here. We don't recognize gay people. How dare you come and march?
Wait, really
And
though?
that
I
in
didn't
that in
actually
a
even see
nutshell.
that.
Yeah, it was a thing. Yeah, it was a thing. It
So
was
it
even
was
one of
all
the things that.
NSAS, like, oh, but you're gay, so it's not NSAS.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay.
Even
Raw.
the feminist coalition, or I think that's what they were call themselves, they were organizing the money and whatever. Like a lot of people are like, nah, we can't trust them. They're feminists. So
Wow.
like there were a lot
Wow.
of narratives going around during that time. So you just kind of see the divide between people who have that exposure versus people who've just been here their whole lives and don't care about any of that.
Mm, I don't know. That is kind of a weird one because like I can't fault like people who don't have that exposure because like to them like it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? I I can't, I mean I don't want to point fingers and everything, but like for me, like if like I'm coming with certain ideologies that I've been exposed to in the West, like you have to like dial it back. I don't know, man. Like that's just my own opinion. Like you have to like dial it back. You can't just come like, oh, they're doing it in America, therefore let's. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand America is very progressive, but you cannot just go back to Naij and like, you know, like be openly gay. For example, it's like you'll catch some smoke. Like you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like I don't
That
know, man.
14
I think
years.
I think that there's also the assumption that liberalism is the right way. And it's kind of odd in a sense because we only think that because America and the UK and these first world countries are kind of liberal. So you just think, okay, they're accepting of everything. So yeah, it has to be right. And because it's developed and we're not,
Yeah.
people just assume it's right. But why does it have to be? I mean, I guess UK is still a bit more conservative. If I'm not a bit more, it's a lot more conservative than America is. Like weed isn't legalized.
America is kind of like split
No.
in that ways, but I feel
Yeah,
you.
Yeah,
yes.
depending on which state you're in, right? So
Yeah.
that assumption that liberalism is the right way is also a big thing now, and a lot of people our age have kind of taken that on their head and just think,
Yeah, and I think that's also
why are we so
problematic in it.
backwards?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Young
like why are we
people
so
tend
back?
to be liberal.
Tend to be what?
Young people tend to be liberal because you're younger and you want to change the world. And
Yeah.
But
you're still impressionable.
are we liberal in the same way our parents were liberal at the same age?
Were
You
our
know, I don't
parents
know.
like
I wasn't there.
liberal though?
I mean, they were probably more liberal than the generation before them.
Probably, yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
honestly,
probably.
probably.
Yeah.
But like, where does it stop then? Is kind of the question. Like,
For
do
me,
we
it should have
It's
just
going
stopped when
on
Cardi B
forever.
started saying, you know what I'm saying? We should have
Yo,
stopped at Cardi B. That's what I'm
Cardi
saying.
B.
Cardi B was the end line. That's where we should have stopped, but we still going. So
This man said
that's
Cardi
yeah?
B.
Why Cardi B? Why not Amber Rose?
What,
Like, why is Cardi
Exactly.
B
Why
your
not
thing?
Barrows?
what did all
I guess
this
because
Why
Cardi
remind
not
you?
B
Amber
is
Rose?
more popular than so Cardi B is really more of a staple name.
Oh, Amber Rose
Like
was. I don't even know. I don't know how many followers she has on Instagram right now, but Amber Rose at the time was massive.
Amber Rose is part of them for sure. Yeah, facts.
And she started all the slut walk, the free the nipple, all that.
Yeah.
Like Amber Rose was like in terms of that.
The ones that annoy me are the people that. So I think there's a culture of being offended. And not like when someone does something wrong or you're racist or you're homophobic or whatever, but just like
When they say
you
something you
just
don't
see,
like. Yeah.
yeah, you just see the randomest things, and people always like to. I, you you see more on social media, like Twitter, and then people like to quote theories that they don't know, that they
Mm.
just heard somebody tweet one day, and you. What's the one now? Oh, I'm trying to think. You know what? Do you guys hear about the Adam Levine thing?
Oh, I just saw that
Oh
today.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Okay, I don't know about anyone else, but when I was watching that video and seeing that woman say, I was manipulated, I was this, I was that. I was just like, come, you are kind of grown up. Don't you know if you
Not
are
kind
going
of, bro.
to
She's grown
She's an
up.
adult. She's a full adult.
don't you know how to say no? Did they force you?
mhm.
You want, and then the things that you see people supporting, like, oh yes, you don't understand the power dynamic. He's a 40-year-old man, there's a celebrity, there's
I
this and that. And
beg.
yes, power dynamics do exist, that's a thing in life. But in this case, it's not like he came and he forced you. He say, oh yeah, you must enter here. He didn't do, and you say yes. And then Kasala burst, and now you want to come and play the victim.
I
That
mean,
was wild.
yeah.
With that one, I didn't actually see. I mean, at least not on any of the socials that like nobody really gave Adam Levine like smoke for cheating on his wife. It was really more at the girl, like, oh, why is she coming to ruin? Don't get me wrong, both sides have some blame. But I was just
Oh no.
surprised that for once I didn't see men as scum. I was like, rough. I'm like,
I mean, affairs are
that's
normal at this point, though. Like, I think everyone has just accepted it.
okay.
Men are scum.
That feels nah,
I,
but
I
nah,
hope
Rose,
it's facts. Yeah, Rose, what you say?
What you say, man?
Yeah, with the whole, I definitely feel like the West has had an influence on us, and gradually we are shifting away from our home cultures and all. I mean, like, we don't even need to look as far as, traveling abroad or being in a different country. Even from the basic things in life, like how many people actually know their language these days? How many people take the time to
Bro,
learn their
that's
language?
that's so true, man. Like, that's so
Yeah.
true.
So, like, we don't even need to look far. Like, we already have it back home. I know, and like other things and other examples, because the truth of the matter is, we don't even need to be in a foreign country for us to experience that shift. I mean, from the things that we watch, the things that we listen to, the music that we listen to, I know. I mean, yeah, yeah, niggas talking different things now, talking about, oh, they are from the hood, they are from gang. And
And
meantime, the guy from Kurudu say now from the hood and all of that. So like all of these things, they have their way of impacting us and all. And with the way things are going, like the shift in culture is going to continue because the way the generations are looking, nobody's really looking to preserve culture. Everybody's looking to, shift away. And to be fair, like it's understandable because if you look at some of the things in which we've held back to in culture, I mean, so many of those things, they are not progressive in nature. Like they don't allow us to move forward. I mean, like um there are so many examples in terms of like dressing, in terms of like physical appearance and all of that kind of stuff. So
gender roles, all
uh,
that stuff.
Well, actually,
Well,
okay.
what? Who said well? Was it skills?
Yeah,
Skills will
well,
come back. Let Rose finish. Let,
yeah,
let,
Rose.
let, let me finish. We'll come back to that.
well, yeah, I mean that's pretty much how it is, though. I mean, so many things that I mean, I still know. Like even whenever my parents always like call me, they're always like, "Oh, I should speak Yoruba to them." Especially my dad, like he's always emphasizing like the need to, you know,
Yeah.
learn the language so that you preserve your culture. Because I mean, now that I'm in the UK, bro, I'm not more in ends. I'm not more back home. So definitely. I
Guys,
am
you just
already
call
being.
Lekki ends. This thing of
yes,
VGC, which
he
one
did.
is it?
Yes, he did.
They call me
Don't mind
GCN.
this guy.
So like because like we're no more in night, like we're already outside of that cultural sphere. So
Yeah.
every day we're already losing a part of those things and all because we have to adapt, we have to acclimatize ourselves to where we are at the moment. So
I
yeah,
mean,
we're definitely losing culture.
before skills goes off, like that language thing is so true. Because like even my younger brother, like even just today, I was like, "Yo, speak to me in Hausa," because this guy always speaks English, right? So his Hausa is very shaky, and the thing is, what you know, the fucked up thing about this whole thing is my Hausa, from by most standards, is shaky. Because, well, it should be. I grew up in Lagos, went to secondary school, Kwara State. You know, I didn't really grow up in the north, so my
Yeah.
Hausa isn't gonna be immaculate. But like, I'm fluent. I understand everything. Like, I talk to anyone, everyone will understand me. So like years ago, like 10 years ago, my house would be considered shaky. My house is way better than like the young kids coming up these days. And I'm like, that makes no sense to me. But it's because they're always speaking English, and then there are all these bloody kid shows always talking a funny accent as well. So they pick up one stupid accents I don't know where they get from.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that thing is
so
irritating.
Yeah, it's very irritating. So even when they're speaking their language, they're speaking it funny. Like it just sounds so inauthentic. And then, well, this is a bit off topic, but I asked this guy. He was telling me about his timetable in school, and he was like, "Oh, they gave them potato wedges," and I'm like, "When did Nigerians even know anything about wedges?"
Wedges.
Yeah,
That's
I was
good.
like, wedges. I'm like, bro, like Nigerians eat potatoes with skin. Like, when the fuck did you ever do that? Like, I'm like, yeah, well, like that's crazy to me. But yeah, that doesn't matter. Where skills you can go.
Cultural exchange.
Yeah.
Well, like, okay, well, from what Rose was saying, like, I mean, like, see, I get it. I think we are in like our generation now. We're in a unique position where we've been exposed to both, I guess, both the traditional values of like our homeland and like westernized culture. And I'll be honest, like, we can't we can't just be progressive for the sake of being progressive. I feel like things still have to make sense. So, for example, Rose brought up like dressing. I'm saying, okay, if you're in Naij, maybe like where your parents or even some other people might see you won't dress a certain way. But when you're on your own in the West, you will dress a certain way. But I feel like I mean, like, I understand the whole freedom aspect of it, but it's grounded in stuff that does make sense, though. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we shouldn't just be progressive for the sake of, let's just be progressive. It's like, no, let's not dress a certain way because there is this risk and that risk and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you are. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
I
I
mean,
don't
you
know. That
saw
is.
the because I sent you guys the stuff in an umbrella with the like band mini skirts for like school kids and stuff, and
Oh,
then a lot of people in the comments were, "Oh, we're being Islamicized or whatever word they used." And I'm like, an umbrella is an Igbo state. Like, I'm pretty sure that there's probably not up to 200 Muslims in the whole state, like, if that. So how that became an Islam issue is beyond me. But like, is like when you actually think about it, does it make sense for primary school kids to be wearing miniskirts
That's what I'm
with the number
saying. Do
of
you get what I'm
kids going
saying? Like,
around? Like,
exactly.
hmm.
Why should they be wearing skates in the
Huh?
first place? You know what I'm
Wait, why
saying?
should
Like,
they be wearing skirts?
yeah, they
or
should.
miniskirts?
Mini skirts.
Means you know me, I'm being a hater. But, but, but yeah, I could see that.
So I don't know,
It's
man.
like,
Like, I don't know. So, so that's just my own point. It's like, I understand this. Oh, let's think outside the box. I get it, but we have the unique perspective of seeing both. So we shouldn't just be progressive for the sake of like being progressive. Like, it's like, let's relax. Like, not everything makes sense. Yeah, so because this, westernized cultures, they seem like they know what they are doing, but I'll be honest, sometimes they're not bright. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's
every,
just.
That's
I mean,
facts.
everybody not gets life.
yeah,
It's just life.
yeah, and I feel like you also have to like skill Fred, you have to know why you're being progressive. But then if I come back to you on that and I say, like, okay, if you look at LGBT issues, for example, if someone says, how does me being gay affect your life? Like, what can you say to that? Because like we all know, gay rights will probably never be legal in this country for
Yeah,
religious
probably
reasons
not
and
that
whatnot.
for at least for a
Oh,
fucking
Yeah,
long time. You know what I'm
but
saying?
like if someone that is gay or
Okay,
whatever says,
yeah, good
how does that
point, good
affect
point.
you? Like,
Exactly. So the traditional values we understand in that is like, we even saw it growing up or conditioned to be homophobic, basically, you know what I'm saying? So like
mm,
now that we've exposed to Western culture, like, I mean, like, nah, like, people are gay, it is what it is, right? So for me, that's one of those instances where it's like, okay, because we've been exposed, we can understand that. See, I mean, it is what it is. Let them do it. They are human beings. It is what it is. Now, the problem is when you're then getting over progressive to where now they are putting it in your face. That's then the problem. You know what I'm saying? So
oh,
there still needs to be a right balance, right? And that's basically where the balance needs to be. You know what I'm saying? So us now saying that might now create the impression that no, we don't like gay people. No, we love y'all. And I'm saying, do you? You know what I mean, but don't
no, we
push
don't.
your
That's the
Stop the
honest truth.
cap.
okay.
okay, cool.
So I
Stop
have
the
a
cap.
I don't know. I feel like it's all G though. I mean, I feel like maybe there needs to be like a whole let's not overdo it for like the kids though, so they don't like get influenced just for no reason. Like let them live their normal life. And I'm saying that's where I might now be like, okay, but like other than that, man, hey, dude, like it is what it is. Like it's calm. Either ways, either ways.
okay.
Yeah, that's my own thing. Sure. That's my own thing.
All right, okay, go with that.
Okay.
Hey, let's wrap up the
Uh,
thing, man. Hey, final thoughts. Rose, what you saying, fam?
Yeah. Wait. Wait. What?
What's going on?
Final thoughts on the whole everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to recollect my thoughts. Yeah, final thoughts. Um, okay, yeah, with the whole culture thing, I guess either ways, we're always going to lose culture because of the way the world is today. The amount of things that we're exposed to, the things that we watch, the things that we listen to, everything is always going to have that shift in culture. And we might not necessarily be a bad thing because there are some parts of our culture that may be archaic. But then again, for the other parts that
Archaic.
are pretty much decent, yeah, archaic now, old.
Nah, I'm feeling your
Archaic,
vocab. No, nah, final function. No, no.
Man said arcade.
But then, like, for the good parts, the decent parts, like the language, I mean, we should try our best to preserve all these things. And well, concerning the whole, alphabet stuff, like I said, I feel skills, man. I mean, if you want
Did
to
you
find
say
your,
alphabet stuff, bro?
Yeah, that's
sorry, I said alphabet. I meant the whole, the whole, yeah, the pronounce thing,
don't worry.
like pronounce
Man
thing.
said
I don't know.
alphabets.
I just feel like you can be whatever you want, but like
Exactly. You
free the
can't.
grammar. I mean,
I say free the
yeah, free
language.
the
All he
grammar.
cares about is
Yeah,
the
free the
language.
language. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Like, I mean, we live in
Free
a
us.
free world. You can make your decisions, and but free the grammar. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Wait, before Kamal and Fulaji goes, what one thing I want to add, though? I guess it's about final thoughts. Obviously, I said what I said. You know what I'm saying?
Man said I said it on my
We out
chest.
here, do whatever you want to do. No one's stopping you. Just be careful, force your agendas onto other people. Like that's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like before pod even started, my agenda is maybe I like Indian girls. I sent a girl on the group chat. Kamal was like, she's not paying. It is what it is. I didn't force him. You know what I'm saying?
Next.
I didn't force him. That's it. But you know what's mad though? What's mad outside of even culture is like how like mindset sometimes will be different. Like just the way you think about things. Now say
No.
like not to make this whole pod about this episode about that, but like you know how like in Nigeria, like when any small thing goes wrong, it's like, oh, like your village people is like, oh, like juju. And I'm like,
Yeah,
but why is he always that though? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, because I've seen some shit here that I'm like, oh, like that was kind of weird. But if like in Nigeria is involved, like, oh no, that's juju, like, well, let's stay away from that witchcraft. I'm like, yo. So I guess like for me personally, like my whole I guess I don't really want to call it belief, but when I was in Nigeria, I was like, oh, I guess witchcraft is like a thing. But now, honestly, and now niggas might come at me for this. I'm like, nah, all that shit's cat boy. But that's just me. That's just me. You know what I'm saying?
Nigga don't believe in the juge.
Yeah, I mean, how many stories have we heard in
Yeah.
Naij? I mean, why is it always in Naij? Like, why Naij, bro?
It's
Like,
not only Naij though. It's really not only. It's a lot of. It's
but
not
they're
only
in
Naij.
non-Western countries. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just
You'll be
remember the
surprised.
story that one of my guys told me. So, like, say one of his uncles now that he has been trying to leave Naij for like the longest time. I know, I like, so like the guy
Guys already
eventually
laughing.
pulled through.
Uh-huh.
The guy pulled through and everything. He got the ticket, got the visa, and all. I think it was going to US. So my guy entered plane now. Arrived at the US. I forgot who he was. Forgot everything. So, the guy
I'm
was
sorry. What?
confused.
Like, what?
Then,
This man
Oh
then
is
my god.
they deported him and came back to Nigeria. Remember?
God damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
This is a true
saying
story.
Well, according to him, it's a true story.
it can't be. You know what I'm saying? Like, we
Okay.
need to check some of these stories, bro. That's what I'm. He's always
That's
Naij. He's always Naij. Come on, final thoughts.
Yeah. Final thoughts. So, in terms of the whole West thing, I definitely feel there's a lot of infiltration going on right now. But like Rose said, like there's part of our culture that, yeah, there's part of our culture that definitely archaic, right?
Mm.
And that needs to change a bit because let's be honest, there's some things we do that is just not necessary.
Fucks.
Well, I don't even know if I should go into this part, but there's like the way relationships work between elders and younger people. Some of it makes no sense to me. There's a lot of our culture that just expects respect one way and not the other way, and you just say because I'm older than you, and to me that makes no sense because I'm still an adult, So there's just a lot of parts of our culture that just don't add up for me. So part of it can definitely go. The problem is where is the line? Because if someone is more liberal than I am, and they want to bring in a lot of things they got from US or UK, and then they want to bring it into Nigeria, and I'm like, well, no, because largely speaking, Nigerians still don't fuck with those things. So you're not gonna try and bring in a law or whatever that most Nigerians are opposed to. So the question of what's right or what's wrong or what affects who and what doesn't affect who is not always necessarily the primary consideration for things. Because at the end of the day, if a large part of the population is opposed to something, you're still not going to do it, even though you can say it's
Yeah.
harmless. Like
Fucks.
to them, it's not. And unfortunately, if to them it's not harmless and they believe God has said, no, we can't do this thing, then you're not going to do it because you have to go with majority rule in that case. So I think the line is a bit blurry. And over time, morals, as we know, is already subjective, and over time, it's only going to become even more subjective with increasing number of rights and stuff like that. So that's going to be a slippery slope moving forward. The alphabets, like Rose said.
Damn.
Man said like Ross said.
They gonna
Yeah,
cancel us, bro.
I mean, I feel like I can make I really could care less what happens in terms of that in Nigeria, just because I know like Nigerians do not subscribe to that school of thought, and I know it's not going to be a thing for a long time because a lot of people still don't fuck with that. So yeah, man, like just just live your life. Don't take things just to take things. You have to kind of know why you believe certain things, and then you have to also know where to draw the line. Like, yeah, I think I'll end it there.
Okay.
Alright. For like Jimmy, final thoughts.
My final thoughts. You know what? Yes, I did the cough. So I didn't even get to finish talking about my impressions of whether we're changing or not because my father came to knock on my
Yeah.
door.
Oh yeah. I forgot about. Yeah.
But so while I think at least my experiences being abroad coming back, obviously you're going to change. That's just life. Your accent's gonna evolve a little bit. Your the way you see things gonna evolve. Your brain's gonna evolve. And at the same time, I feel like that experience made me appreciate my own culture more, or just things like, unlike maybe some of you, my Yoruba is not that fluent. But then being outside, I've seen, oh, okay, this people really like their things, and at the end of the day, need an identity. So it's like, okay, how can we push
Mhm.
things? Like, come on, you're talking about how your brothers and younger people, everyone is talking like those cartoons with the weird accents. But
Yeah.
what if guess what?
Yeah.
What if there was a Yoruba cartoon or a Hausa cartoon? Boom, we've solved the problem.
Mhm.
Now they can watch the cartoons but still learn their language. You can propagate culture in those ways. Let's face it, the whole world is getting quote unquote westernized. America colonized the whole world. It's going to affect everybody. Even UK itself is affecting them. So unless you want to make your country's GDP the biggest GDP and conquer everybody's television, it's a thing we might just have to deal with. But you can find ways within that to make sure you don't lose the essence of who you are and strengthen your own version of your culture. Now, to the LGBT side of things, as they like to say on TikTok, the LGBT side, guys, just live your life in it. I think gay people are cool. I, I mean, some people might try to force you to do things, whatever. We're not focusing on them. We're just focusing on people trying to
Wait,
live their
what?
lives. Wait, oh
Okay.
wait, what do you mean by hey? Wait, what confused you?
What did you mean by that? Like trying to force you to do things? What does that mean?
Oh, like let's say the example that I think was it that Rose gave where he was like, you know, people transition but they don't give you the grace to get used to that.
Oh, okay,
songs.
okay.
Yeah, situations like that. Like that might
Okay.
will and it's gonna happen. But everybody's mad. Whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're Yoruba, whether you're
Not
everybody's
me
mad.
though. Y'all be safe.
He said that's y'all, bro.
Yeah, that's y'all, bro. I ain't mad.
Yeah.
So I guess at the end of the day, it's just finding reasonable, acting as reasonably as you can while trying to be open, and you know, don't be a dick.
Bucks.
Don't be a dick at the end of the day.
Skill set facts. Actually, real quick, like as far as you guys know, because we're talking about how everyone is getting westernized. As far as you know, do you think places like China and Japan and those kind of Asian countries are getting westernized?
Yeah,
Nah.
to a lesser
Nah, I
extent.
think
don't
it's
think
like
so.
Nigeria. I don't think they are. I think like us, the people that come to the West, they are, but like at its core, I don't think they are at all.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them do go to the west as well, which is why I'm
True.
asking.
Yeah. True. Yeah. I mean, I don't
That's
know,
what
but
I'm
I would
curious.
liken it
Because as
to
far
mean,
as I know,
Nigeria.
like my initial reaction would be no as well, which is why I was curious to know what you guys thought. But
Oh,
Vladimir said yes, so I want to know why
yeah,
he thinks yes.
I think because if you look at those, first of all, the language of English, and in today's day and age, America is the biggest propagator of English. A lot of all these
But then most
languages
of
they
those
have,
people, they already know how to speak their local language.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
they do.
these people, they speak it from birth. Most of them, they are even
Yeah.
multilingual. Most of the people
Yeah.
from China. So
So
those ones,
some
they have
people are,
culture ingrained within them.
yeah, but at the same time, like these languages, they usually have borrowed words from English. I think like every language does.
You think Chinese have
And
borrowed words from English?
oh yeah,
I don't think Chinese does. It
yeah,
might. Actually, it might. I don't know. It might.
yeah. Chinese,
Nah,
I ain't never heard
Korean,
in
Japanese.
English.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I'm
I
sure
don't
one or
think
two
so.
words will sound
The
similar.
ones that it
Where that
won't make
origin comes
sense
from, I don't
to
know.
translate, obviously, like VAR.
Yeah,
You know what
maybe.
I'm saying? Yeah, like if you're talking about football, like
Yeah.
obviously. But I don't think they borrow English words at all, Sha. I don't think for me, I don't know.
In today's day
But
and
definitely the
age,
languages like French and
they
stuff
do.
like have
Yeah.
But
English sound in it.
Yeah.
but
And
I
guy,
guess
even all of
what
them,
was
like in different countries, guy, whenever they are together, they don't speak English.
At all,
They
yeah.
always
yeah.
speak their language.
Yeah,
Always.
oh yeah. It's like Hausa people for the most part, if they're together, they're speaking Hausa. Like very rarely do
Yeah.
they speak English in the same room.
Shout out to Hausa people. But I was
Yeah,
trying
shout
to
out to my guys.
I was trying to drive at was I guess there's different
Yeah,
magnitude. Like the way you
Mm-hmm.
see
yeah.
somebody in Nigeria saying, "Yo, bro, I'm from the hood, nigga, nigga, nigga." You might find that guy in China, but he's no. I don't think he's the majority of the people that
Do you
say
know what's
that.
mad?
Mm.
China,
I didn't even think you find that guy in China. Like I don't think so.
hip
Like
hop is very big in the world. It's a very
You
big
do,
genre.
you
yeah.
will, because I know a guy that's from Hong Kong that's like that. So yeah,
Oh
he's
yeah,
right.
maybe.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, that was the same guy
American
asking me why
culture
you
is
couldn't say
very
nigga. Like,
prevalent.
yeah,
I got you.
American culture is very prevalent around the world. You'll be very surprised.
yeah,
Yo,
Yo, it's been your boys.
spin your boys on the
that's what just good.
fucking Parrot Side podcast, bro. Hey, y'all know what the fuck it is. Shout out the gang still. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify. And you know the flow. You know the flow by now. Fula Jimmy, what do we tell them about the feedback? Yo, tell them.
Don't send us any fucking feedback, bro.
Hey,
This is a
you heard him
one-sided
say.
podcast.
Hey, you heard him say, bro. I don't give a fuck. Hey, shout out the boys, man. Rate us 5 stars. Catch you on the next one.
Hey, Rachel,
Hey, we'll be back, bro. Peace.
peace out.
Humans